Vexilor's face contorted with rage as he saw the Harmonizer ships move to protect Earth. "This is treason against the Council," he shouted at his command staff. "Prepare all weapons. We will destroy the traitors first, then deal with the humans." The Council fleet split, with ships loyal to Vexilor targeting the Harmonizer vessels. Energy weapons flashed across space as the battle began. On Earth, the Resistance leadership watched the conflict with a mixture of hope and fear. "The Harmonizers can't hold them off alone," Greg said. Just then, Admiral Carson reported exciting news. "The Defiance has returned from Mars. They're requesting immediate landing clearance." Within an hour, Sam Kelly, Brandon Willis, and Jason Morris arrived at the command center with the downloaded Council data. Laura Collins and her team immediately began analyzing the weapons and shield information. "We can use this," Laura said excitedly. "Their ships have the same communication vulnerability as their base. If we broadcast on this specific frequency pattern, we can disrupt their systems." Peter Blackwell quickly formulated a plan. "We'll need to get close enough to their command ship to deploy the disruptor." As they prepared for the counterattack, the Harmonizer representatives met with Lisa, Greg, and Adam. The aliens removed their environmental suits, revealing slender blue-skinned beings with 4 arms. "I am Trelzan of the Harmonizers," their leader said. "We have opposed Vexilor's methods from the beginning. Many on the Council believe that promising species should be welcomed, not controlled." Adam nodded. "We appreciate your help, but Vexilor's forces outnumber yours." "Not for long," Trelzan replied. "The full Council has voted to recall Vexilor. Reinforcements loyal to the Council majority are on their way." Above Earth, the battle intensified. Vexilor, realizing he might lose his advantage, ordered a direct attack on Earth's major cities despite the shields. Maximum power to all weapons. Break through their defenses. Energy beams hammered the shields protecting New York, Beijing, London, and other cities. The shield generators strained under the assault. Diana received alarming reports from her technicians. "The shields can't take this level of bombardment for long. We have maybe 30 minutes before they fail." The joint human harmonizer plan went into action. 5 small, fast ships, 3 human and 2 harmonizer, launched toward Vexilor's command vessel. Sam Kelly insisted on joining the mission, despite his ordeal on Mars. "I've seen their technology up close," he told Brandon. "I need to be there." As they approached the massive alien ship, the human vessels drew enemy fire, while the harmonizer ships slipped close to the command vessel's communication array. They deployed the disruptors designed by Laura's team. The effect was immediate. Vexilor's coordinated attack faltered as communication between his ships broke down. Individual captains couldn't receive orders or coordinate their actions. On the command ship, Vexilor watched in horror as his tactical displays went dark. "Restore communications," he ordered, but his officers couldn't comply. Then new ships appeared, Council reinforcements, but not the ones Vexilor had requested. These vessels surrounded the command ship and broadcast a message. "Commander Vexilor, by order of the Galactic Council, you are relieved of command. Your actions against Earth were not authorized." With his fleet in disarray and now outnumbered, Vexilor had no choice but to surrender. The attack on Earth's shields stopped. The crisis was over. 1 week later, representatives from Earth stood before the full Galactic Council. Lisa, Greg, Diana, and Sam presented humanity's case, using the Europa colony as evidence of human ingenuity and potential. "We discovered that your agents were manipulating our development," Lisa told the assembled council. "We responded not just with resistance, but by reaching out to those among you who believe in cooperation rather than control." Zornful, who had initially proposed controlling humanity, now spoke in their favor. "I was wrong about humans. Their response to our interference demonstrates a species worthy of respect. They united despite their differences and showed both courage and wisdom." The room fell silent as the last member of the Galactic Council took their seat. The great chamber, with its high curved ceiling that mimicked the spiral arms of the galaxy, held representatives from over 200 advanced civilizations. Today, only one topic was on their agenda: humanity. Zornful, the blue-skinned diplomat from the Arcturus system, stood to address the assembly. His four arms gestured at the holographic display, showing a small blue planet. Esteemed colleagues, our observers report that humans have advanced from basic flight to rudimentary space travel in less than a century. Their technological growth rate is unprecedented. Murmurs spread through the chamber. A reptilian counselor hissed in concern. Commander Vexlor, the military representative from Rigel, stepped forward. His metallic exoskeleton gleamed under the chamber lights. They spend more resources on weapons than any developing species we have encountered. They fight among themselves constantly. Imagine what they will do when they reach other worlds. On a small screen in the corner of the room, footage played of human wars, nuclear tests, and environmental damage. The council members watched with growing unease. If they continue at this pace, they will develop faster than light travel within 50 years, Zornful said. Their warlike nature combined with their rapid advancement poses an unacceptable risk to galactic stability. After hours of debate, the vote was nearly unanimous. The Galactic Council would implement Operation Shepherd, a plan to secretly limit human development and guide Earth's nations away from rapid space advancement. We will establish our primary observation post on their neighboring planet, Mars, Commander Vexlor announced. From there, we can monitor and intervene as needed. While the Council made their plans, Jack Harmon sat in his small office at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena. His eyes were fixed on unusual data patterns coming from the Mars rover. For 3 weeks, the rover had been picking up strange energy fluctuations that didn't match any known natural phenomenon. Jack rubbed his tired eyes and reached for his phone. He needed to talk to someone about this, and there was only one person he trusted with something so potentially significant. Sam, it's Jack. I need you to look at something weird from the Mars data. Sam Kelly, sitting in the astronaut training facility in Houston, listened carefully as his old college friend described the anomalies. As one of NASA's top astronauts, Sam had been recently selected for a classified mission that even he didn't fully understand. All he knew was that it involved Mars. And now Jack's discovery seemed more than coincidental. Send me the files securely, Sam said quietly. Don't discuss this with anyone else yet. Across the country in Washington, D.C., Lisa Wright stared at her computer screen in the Pentagon's intelligence wing. As a senior analyst, she had access to diplomatic reports from around the world. Something strange had been happening over the past 6 months. World leaders were making decisions that contradicted their established policies. Advanced research projects were being shut down due to unexpected funding cuts or bizarre accidents. Lisa created a new encrypted folder and began collecting the anomalies. There was a pattern here, but she couldn't quite see the full picture yet. That evening, as Lisa drove home, she noticed a black car following her. When she took an unexpected turn, the car continued straight ahead. Maybe her nerves were getting to her. On Mars, the Galactic Council's installation was nearly complete. Hidden beneath the red soil of Acidalia planitia, the base was staffed by 30 specialists from various Council worlds. Their monitoring systems tracked all Earth communications. Their interference technologies were ready to disrupt any dangerous human advancements, and their scout ships were prepared to deploy agents to key positions around the globe. The humans suspect nothing, Vexlor reported back to the Council. Their primitive rovers have passed within kilometers of our base without detecting us. Operation Shepherd is proceeding exactly as planned. But in that moment, Sam Kelly was looking at Jack's data while preparing for a mission he now suspected had a very different purpose than he'd been told. And Lisa Wright was connecting dots that the Council had never expected a human could connect so quickly. The Council had made their decision to control humanity's future. What they didn't realize was that humans were about to show up in ways they never anticipated. Diana Powell slammed her hand on the conference table. As CEO of Quantum Leap Technologies, she had overseen the development of a revolutionary new computer chip. But this morning their lab had mysteriously caught fire, destroying 3 years of work. This is the fourth major setback in 18 months, she told her board of directors. First the power failures, then the corrupted data, the funding problems, and now this fire. Something isn't right. What Diana didn't know was that a council agent had infiltrated her company 6 months ago. Quantum Leap's technology would have advanced human computing power by decades, putting them dangerously close to developing artificial intelligence that could detect the council's presence. Across the country, Greg Martinez stood at attention as his commanding officer delivered new orders. Major Martinez had expected his unit to continue testing the new orbital defense system. Instead, they were being reassigned to an obscure training exercise in the desert. "Sir, with respect, we're 3 weeks away from completing the defense grid tests," Greg said. His commander's eyes seemed unfocused as he replied, "The tests are no longer a priority. These orders come from the highest level." Greg left the office troubled. The orbital defense system had been deemed essential to national security just a month ago. Now it was suddenly unimportant. He made a mental note to contact his academy friend, Lisa Wright, at the Pentagon. Maybe she knew something about this strange change. Meanwhile, 628 million kilometers from Earth, the Europa colony monitored the unusual communications. Hidden beneath the icy surface of Jupiter's moon, the settlement of 5,000 people had existed for 15 years, unknown to most of humanity. Originally established as a secret international scientific outpost, it had grown into a self-sustaining colony with its own culture and advanced technology. Olivia Bennett, the colony's elected leader, studied the intercepted signals from Mars. Their deep space monitoring station had detected the alien presence months before Earth had any clue. "They're not just watching anymore," she told her council. "These new transmissions suggest active interference with Earth operations." "Should we break silence?" asked her chief of security. "Earth needs to know." Olivia shook her head. "Not yet. If we reveal ourselves to Earth, we reveal ourselves to these aliens too. We need more information first." Back on Earth, Lisa Wright carefully analyzed the pattern of strange events she'd been tracking. Military projects canceled, research facilities suffering accidents, key scientists dying or disappearing. She encrypted her findings and sent a secure message to Greg Martinez. "Something big is happening. Need to talk. Use the old channels." That same night, Sam Kelly prepared for his Mars mission launch. NASA had rushed the timeline, cutting 3 months of training and preparation. In the astronaut quarters, he studied the data Jack had sent him one more time. The energy signatures couldn't be natural, and their location matched the landing zone for his mission. "They're sending us right to it," he whispered to himself. "But do they know what it is?" In the room next door, his teammate Eric Bauman was having similar thoughts. "Sam, have you noticed how weird mission control has been acting? Half the original science objectives were dropped without explanation." Sam nodded. "Stay alert when we get up there. I don't think we're being told everything." At the Mars base, Commander Vex Lore received a troubling report from Earth. Their surveillance had detected several humans beginning to notice the Council's manipulation. Zornfell had advised subtle approaches, but Vex Lore had never believed in subtlety. "Identify these individuals and prepare for direct intervention," he ordered. "The Lisa Wright human has made too many connections already. The astronaut Kelly and his team will need to be contained once they arrive, and increase surveillance on Europa." The junior officer looked up in surprise. "Europa, Commander. Our scans showed Jupiter's moon to be uninhabited." Vexalore's compound eyes narrowed. "I received anomalous signal data from that sector. Something is hiding there, and I want to know what it is." The Council's plan to quietly shepherd humanity was already fraying at the edges. Humans were noticing the manipulation far sooner than expected, and unknown to the Council, the Europa colony was preparing a response that would shatter their assumptions about humanity's capabilities and reach. The infiltration had begun, but so had the resistance. The rocket engines roared as Sam Killy and his crew of 6 launched toward Mars. The vibration shook them in their seats as Earth fell away below. Sam's mind raced with questions. What would they find? Were the strange signals Jack had detected connected to their rushed mission? After 3 months of space travel, they approached the red planet. Their landing module touched down on the dusty surface just 10 kilometers from the source of the unusual energy readings. Mission Control. This is Mars Team Alpha. Successful landing at Site Bravo, Sam reported. Copy that, Alpha. Proceed with establishing the research station, came the reply. The crew set up their base camp efficiently. By the 3rd day, they were ready to explore. Sam selected Eric Bauman and 2 others for the first expedition toward the energy source. Remember, officially, we're just collecting soil samples, Sam told them quietly as they boarded the rover. As they approached the coordinates, their equipment began to malfunction. Radio communication with base camp cut out. The rover's navigation system failed. That's not normal, Eric said, checking his handheld scanner. Something's interfering with our electronics. They continued on foot, climbing a small ridge. What they saw on the other side made them freeze. A smooth metal structure rose from the red soil, clearly not natural and definitely not human-made. My God, Sam whispered, we're not alone. Before they could retreat, a hidden door in the structure slid open. 3 tall figures emerged, wearing what looked like environmental suits. Their movements were fluid, inhuman. Run, Sam shouted. They scattered. Sam and Eric raced back toward the rover. The 2 other crew members ran in different directions. Strange beams of blue light shot past them. One hit a crew member, who instantly froze in place. Sam reached the rover first and grabbed the emergency pack. Eric was just behind him when a blue beam caught his leg. He fell, paralyzed from the waist down. Go, Eric shouted. Tell Earth. Sam hesitated only a second before running. He couldn't help Eric now. Someone had to warn Earth. He activated his emergency beacon as he fled across the Martian landscape. Back on Earth, Lisa Wright met with Greg Martinez in a quiet park in Washington, D.C. After checking for surveillance, they shared what they knew. It's not just the defense system, Greg said. 6 other major military projects were shut down last month, all cutting-edge technology. Lisa nodded. I've documented over 50 cases of breakthrough research being mysteriously halted. Something is systematically keeping us from advancing. Greg looked around nervously. I was followed yesterday. I'm sure of it. Me too, Lisa admitted. We need a secure way to communicate and gather evidence. As they talked, Lisa's phone buzzed with an emergency alert. NASA had lost contact with the Mars mission. All communication with the crew had suddenly stopped. At the same time, Jack Harmon received a weak signal from Mars on a private channel he had set up with Sam before the mission. The message was broken and brief. Not alone. Base. Aliens. Control Earth. Jack's hands shook as he called Lisa's secure line. It's about Mars. You need to hear this. Meanwhile, Diana Powell was rebuilding her lab after the fire when she received an anonymous email with security footage from the night of the incident. The video showed a man tampering with the lab's electrical system. His face occasionally seemed to shift and blur in the footage, as if covered by some kind of mask or technological disguise. Diana immediately called her head of security. Find this person and increase security on all our facilities. On Europa, Olivia Bennett received disturbing news. Their monitoring systems had detected a transmission from Mars directed at Jupiter. They know we're here, her chief scientist said. Or at least, they suspect. Olivia looked at the latest data from Earth. The situation was deteriorating faster than expected. Humans who noticed the pattern of interference were being followed. Some had disappeared. We can't wait any longer, she decided. Prepare the communication system. It's time to contact our friends on Earth. She selected 5 individuals to receive their first transmission. Lisa Wright, Greg Martinez, Jack Harmon. Diana Powell, and a brilliant linguist named Allison Yang, who could help decode the alien language they had been studying. The Council's plan to control humanity was being exposed, and now humans from Earth and Europa were about to join forces. Lisa Wright stared at her computer screen in disbelief. The message had appeared suddenly, using encryption she had never seen before. It was signed Europa Colony and contained information that changed everything. "We are 5,000 humans living on Jupiter's moon," the message read. "We have been monitoring alien activity in our solar system for 7 years. The Galactic Council has decided Earth is a threat. They are actively working to limit human development. We have technology that can help. Trust no one in official positions. They have been compromised." Lisa immediately contacted Jack, Gray, and Diana through the secure channel they had established. Within hours, the four of them met in Diana's private jet as it circled over the Midwest, a precaution against surveillance. "Could this be a hoax?" Diana asked after reading the message. Jack shook his head. "It matches what Sam sent from Mars, and explains everything we've been seeing." Greg looked grim. "If they can control people in power, we're already losing." Lisa pulled out her laptop. The Europa message included a way to detect who's been influenced. "They've developed a scanner that can spot the neural implants the aliens are using." "My company can build these scanners," Diana said. "I have facilities they don't know about." Meanwhile, Sam Kelly had gone into hiding on Mars. After escaping the alien base, he found shelter in a small cave system. Using parts from his rover, he built a device to monitor the aliens' communications. He learned they were called the Council, and they considered humans dangerous children who needed to be controlled. The alien commander, Vexilor, was particularly angry about the escape. "Find the human Kelly," he ordered his search parties. "He must not communicate with Earth again." What Vexilor didn't know was that Sam had already made contact with the resistance forming on Earth. Using the damaged rover's communication system during Mars night, when the alien patrols were reduced, he sent vital information about the Council's technology and plans. On Earth, the resistance grew quickly. Keith Davidson, a brilliant hacker recruited by Greg, created a shadow network that bypassed normal communication channels. Vanessa Reeves, a mid-level government official who had avoided the Council's notice, became their eyes and ears in Washington. Lisa coordinated everything from a hidden location, connecting the scattered resistance cells. Diana's company secretly produced scanners to identify compromised individuals, while also developing countermeasures against alien technology. "They never expected us to notice so quickly," Lisa told the growing resistance leadership. "That's our advantage." Greg had begun identifying military personnel who were free of alien influence. "We need to prepare for when they realize we're organized," he warned. On Europa, Olivia Bennett prepared 3 small ships to travel to Earth. They carried their best engineers and scientists, along with the advanced technology they had developed in isolation. "We leave in 6 hours," she told the selected team. "The Mars base has detected our communications. We don't have much time." Nicole Howard, Europa's lead engineer, packed the plans for their most important development, a propulsion system that could reach Mars in days instead of months. "If we can build these on Earth, we can launch a rescue mission for the Mars team," she explained to Olivia. In the Council's Mars base, Eric Bauman remained strong despite interrogation. The aliens had learned little from him, but they had collected enough data from observing the humans to improve their own disguises. Soon their agents would be almost undetectable without special equipment. Zornful, the Council diplomat who had originally proposed controlling rather than contacting humans, sent an urgent message to the Council. "The human response is unexpected. They have organized resistance faster than any species we have encountered. I recommend we accelerate to Phase 2. The Council approved the request. A fleet of ships would be sent to establish direct control over Earth. They expected a quick surrender when humans saw their advanced technology. But across the solar system, humanity was preparing a response the Council never anticipated. The resistance was growing. Earth and Europa were uniting. And Sam Kelly on Mars had just discovered a critical weakness in the Council's communications technology. The real battle was about to begin. The small ship from Europa entered Earth's atmosphere under cover of darkness. It landed in a remote area of Wyoming, where Diana Powell had arranged a secure meeting site. Greg Martinez and a small team of trusted soldiers provided security, while Lisa Wright waited nervously for their first contact with humans from beyond Earth. 3 figures emerged from the ship. They looked completely human, though their movements seemed slightly different after years in lower gravity. "I'm Olivia Bennett," the leader said, extending her hand to Lisa. "It's good to finally meet in person." Nicole Howard, the engineer, and another scientist named Paul Carter joined them. They'd brought crates of technology developed on Europa. "This is better than we hoped," Diana said as she examined the devices. "With these designs, we can mount a real defense." Meanwhile, Brandon Willis, a former Special Forces commander recruited by Greg, began planning a mission to Mars. Using the new propulsion technology from Europa, they could reach the planet in just 12 days. "The hard part will be getting past their defenses," Brandon told his team. "But we have surprise on our side. They don't know we're coming." The Council remained unaware of the Europa colony's arrival on Earth. Their focus was on the increased resistance to their control efforts. More humans were discovering their agents, and several key operations had been compromised. Commander Vexlor grew impatient. "We should simply show ourselves and demand submission," he argued during a council meeting. "This covert approach is failing." Zornfall disagreed. "A direct approach could unite humans against us. Their history shows they put aside internal conflicts when facing external threats." But Vexlor's argument won support. The Council authorized a small fleet to enter Earth orbit as a show of force. 7 ships would position themselves over major cities in 2 weeks' time. On Mars, Sam Kelly had established contact with the remaining members of his team, who were hiding in different locations across the planet. Together, they monitored the alien base and gathered critical information. During one reconnaissance mission, Sam discovered something important. The Council's communication system had a flaw. It was vulnerable to a specific frequency that caused interference. This could be the key to disrupting their coordination during an attack. Sam sent this information to Earth just as Brandon's rescue mission launched from a secret facility in the Nevada desert. The ship, named Defiance, carried 20 elite soldiers equipped with weapons based on Europa technology. Back on Earth, the resistance had spread worldwide. Diana's factories worked non-stop producing the scanners that could detect compromised individuals. Regular people began to notice something was wrong when government officials and business leaders made increasingly strange decisions. Michelle Patel, a journalist who had joined the resistance, prepared evidence for a global broadcast that would expose the truth. "When the Council ships arrive," she told Lisa, "we'll be ready to show everyone what's really happening." Ryan Fisher, an engineer working with Nicole Howard, made a breakthrough in adapting Europa's defensive shield technology for broader use. "We can protect key cities with this," he explained to Diana. "Not indefinitely, but long enough to mount a counterattack." The Council's Mars base detected unusual activity in Earth orbit as the Defiance approached Mars. Vexlor ordered increased security but didn't realize the humans were planning a direct assault on his facility. "These primitives are becoming annoying," he told his officers. "Once our fleet arrives at Earth, this resistance will crumble." In his private quarters, Eric Bauman continued to resist interrogation. The aliens had learned little from him, but they had collected enough data from observing humans to improve their disguises. Their newer agents on Earth were almost undetectable without special equipment. The Defiance was now just 2 days from Mars. Brandon briefed his team one final time. "Our mission is to rescue our people and gather intelligence on the Council's technology. Sam Kelly has given us the layout of their base and identified a weakness in their security systems." On Earth, Lisa received a troubling report. The Council ships had accelerated their timeline. They would arrive in just 3 days. The resistance wasn't fully prepared. "We need more time," she told Olivia and Greg during an emergency meeting. Greg looked grim. "Time just ran out. We need to move to the backup plan." The backup plan was risky. It would reveal the resistance to the Council much earlier than intended. But with the Council fleet approaching and the Mars mission already underway, they had no choice. The counterattack had begun. The Defiance entered Mars orbit under complete radio silence. Brandon Willis studied the red planet through the view screen. Somewhere down there were Sam Kelly and the other survivors, along with the alien base they needed to disable. "Final equipment check," Brandon ordered his team. "We drop in 30 minutes. On the planet below, Sam Kelly watched the small dot of the approaching ship through a makeshift telescope. He sent a brief signal using the emergency frequency they had established. The response came immediately. The rescue mission was on schedule. Sam gathered his gear and prepared to meet them at the landing zone. He had mapped the alien patrol patterns over the past weeks. There would be a 20-minute window when the landing area would be clear. Inside the Council base, alarms suddenly blared. Their sensors had detected the approaching human ship. Vexlor rushed to the command center. "How did they get here so quickly?" he demanded. "Our intelligence indicated they were decades away from this level of propulsion technology." His officers had no answer. Vexlor deployed all available security forces to protect the base and capture the human ship. Back on Earth, the Council's fleet had been detected approaching the Moon. 3 enormous vessels and 4 smaller ships moved into position. Heather Carson, the admiral in charge of Earth's space defense, called an emergency meeting with the Resistance leadership. "We have 24 hours before they enter Earth orbit," she told Lisa, Greg, Diana, and Olivia. "Our planetary defenses won't stop them." Diana opened a secure case. "We've mass-produced these shield generators based on Europa technology. They can protect our major cities temporarily." Greg added, "And we've identified most of their agents on Earth using the scanners. They're being contained as we speak." Lisa looked at the tactical display. "We need to buy time for the Mars mission to succeed. Their base contains the control systems for all their Earth operations." Meanwhile, Adam Rodriguez, a diplomat who had joined the Resistance, was attempting to establish communication with any potential allies within the Council. Using information Sam had gathered about Council politics, he sent messages suggesting that not all species supported the operation against Earth. Some of them argued for peaceful contact, he explained to Lisa. "If we can reach those factions, we might find allies." On Mars, Brandon's team landed successfully and joined up with Sam. Together, they approached the alien base using the cover of a dust storm. "Their communications are most vulnerable here," Sam said, pointing to a structure with several antennas. "If we can plant these disruptors, it will cut them off from their fleet and their Earth agents." Brandon divided his team. One group would create a diversion. Another would attempt to rescue Eric and the other captured astronauts, while Sam would lead a small team to disable the communications. As they moved into position, Vexlor received a message from the approaching fleet. "Commander, we are detecting unusual energy signatures from Earth. They appear to be defensive shields of advanced design." Vexlor slammed his fist on the console. "Impossible. Their technology is not that advanced." Then a second report came in. "We've lost contact with 60% of our Earth agents. Something is interfering with the control signals." For the first time, Vexlor felt uncertain. How had the humans advanced so quickly? Where had they obtained this technology? The attack on the Mars base began with an explosion at the far side of the facility. As alarms sounded and security forces rushed to respond, Sam's team approached the communication center. They planted the disruptors on key equipment and activated them. Inside the base, systems began to fail. The connection to Earth agents was severed. Communication with the approaching fleet became erratic. The rescue team found Eric Bauman and 5 other captured humans in a secure section of the base. Despite weeks of captivity, Eric was able to walk with assistance. "You have no idea how good it is to see you," he told his rescuers. In orbit around Earth, the Council Fleet Commander received sporadic and confused messages from Mars before communication cut out entirely. At the same time, Earth's defenses activated, with shield domes appearing over major cities. The commander sent a message to the Galactic Council. The human response is far beyond predicted capabilities. Request immediate instructions and reinforcements. On Earth, Michelle Patel launched her global broadcast. Using all available channels, she revealed the truth about the alien infiltration and the resistance effort. Images of the Council ships orbiting Earth removed any doubt about the reality of her claims. For the first time in human history, the entire planet united against a common threat. Nations that had been enemies for generations now shared resources and information to support the resistance. The Council had severely underestimated humanity. The battle for Earth had begun. The Mars base was in chaos. With communications disrupted, the Council forces could not coordinate their defense. Brandon's team fought their way back to the Defiance with Sam, Eric, and the other rescued astronauts. They had one more objective before leaving: downloading the Council's database. "We need everything they have," Sam told Jason Morris, their tech specialist. "Ship locations, weapons systems, their entire command structure." Jason connected his device to the alien computer terminal. "I'll need 5 minutes." Outside, the firefight intensified as alien reinforcements arrived. Brandon's soldiers held them back with weapons enhanced by Europa technology. The aliens had never faced humans with nearly equal firepower before. 2 minutes left, Jason called out as the data streamed into his device. Sam noticed something strange in the data flowing across the screen. "Wait, look at that," he pointed. "Those are internal Council communications, arguments about how to handle Earth." Jason nodded. Some of them were against this operation from the beginning. A faction called the Harmonizers wanted peaceful contact. As soon as the download completed, they rushed back to the Defiance. The ship lifted off under heavy fire, but made it safely to orbit. They immediately set course for Earth, where the real battle was about to begin. In orbit around Earth, the Council fleet faced unexpected resistance. Earth ships equipped with Europa propulsion systems harassed the larger alien vessels using hit-and-run tactics. Admiral Heather Carson coordinated the defense from a hidden command center. "We can't defeat them in direct combat," she told her officers, "but we can keep them off balance until the Mars team returns." Laura Collins, a scientist working with the Europa technology, made a breakthrough in understanding the Council's weapon systems. Their main weapons use a frequency modulation that our shields can be calibrated against, she explained to Peter Blackwell, the military strategist planning Earth's defense. Peter immediately updated their defensive plans. "This gives us a chance to withstand their initial attack." On the Council command ship, the fleet commander received disturbing news. "The humans have adapted their shields to our weapon frequencies. Penetration is down to 30%. More troubling was the message from the Galactic Council itself. Not all Council members supported an escalation of the conflict. The Harmonizers faction had gained support after learning that humans had established a colony on Europa without Council assistance, something only highly advanced civilizations had achieved before. Meanwhile, Commander Vex Lore had escaped the Mars base in a small ship. Furious at the human attack, he contacted the fleet commander with new orders. Forget the Council's hesitation. Prepare a full attack on their main cities. Show them the consequence of resistance. The fleet commander was uncertain. "Some Council members have called for negotiations. We should wait for consensus." "I am in command of this operation," Vexlor snarled. "The attack begins in 6 hours." Adam Rodriguez had made contact with representatives of the Harmonizer faction through channels discovered in the Mars-based data. Cynthia Mason, a diplomat working with Adam, helped craft a message to these potential allies. "We seek peaceful coexistence," their message stated, "but we will defend our right to develop without interference." The response came quickly. Several Council species had become concerned about Vexilor's aggressive approach. They viewed it as dangerous and unnecessary. These potential allies provided critical information. Vexillor was planning a major attack despite ongoing council debate. When this information reached Lisa and the resistance leadership, they immediately updated Admiral Carson. "We need to prepare for a massive assault," Lisa warned. The Defiance was still 12 hours from Earth. Peter Blackwell gathered his strategic team. "We need to hold out until they arrive with the data and technology from Mars." Diana Powell had converted all her company's resources to producing defensive equipment. "The shield generators can protect our major cities, but not indefinitely," she warned. As Vexillor's attack deadline approached, Earth prepared as best it could. The shields over major cities glowed with energy as people watched the alien ships through the translucent barrier. In homes around the world, families huddled together, waiting. Then, unexpectedly, 3 new ships appeared in Earth orbit. They were not human vessels, nor part of the Council fleet. Their design was completely different. A message broadcast across all channels, in perfect English. "We are representatives of the Harmonizer faction. We stand with humanity against this unauthorized aggression." For the first time since the conflict began, hope spread across Earth. They were no longer alone in the galaxy. Vexillor's unauthorized attack was about to face opposition from both humans and his own kind. After deliberation, the Council voted to recognize Earth as a sovereign world and the Europa colony as a legitimate human settlement. Humanity would not be controlled but welcomed as equals. Daniel Ward, newly appointed Earth ambassador, signed the first official treaty between humanity and the Galactic Council. The agreement established trade, cultural exchange, and mutual defense. As Sam Kelly looked around the council chamber at the diverse alien species, he thought about how differently things had turned out from what the council had planned. They had decided to control humanity, and instead discovered that humans would forge their own destiny among the stars.